Hey everybody, this is Brandon Ford and welcome to the Blind Rage podcast. For this week's TV episode, we are returning to Tales from the Crypt for Zach Galligan and Patricia Charbonneau in Strung Along. And this is from season 4. I'm using the DVD edition, so if you want to watch along, that would be your ideal choice, unless you would rather watch on YouTube. I wonder how the Vimeo episodes are. I don't know. But, yep. So, before we get into the episode, I gotta get the plugs out of the way. As always, please don't forget to check out my books in Kindle and paperback editions by going to Amazon.com or the Amazon app, typing in Brandon Ford. There you'll find my titles as well as my author page. You can also find my titles in audiobook format by going to audible.com as well as the Audible app and typing in Brandon Ford. I have several titles there. You can follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford if you don't already. You can also follow me on Twitter at Brandon Ford. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, criticisms, suggestions, recommendations for episodes of Tales from the Crypt, any other show or movie you'd like me to do commentaries for, feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. Lastly, if you don't already, please subscribe to the Blind Rage podcast, and please give me a star rating. Even if you don't write a review, it only takes 2 seconds to just hit a star rating, especially if you are listening to the show on Apple. Just hit the drop down, select a star rating, submit. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. And I'm happier, at least a little bit. Okay, so we are going to get started with a 3 count. So if you're watching along, I hope you have your episode queued up and ready to go, because here it comes. 3, 2, 1, play. So yeah, this is Strung Along, like I said, from season 4, and we have Zach. I hope I said Zach Galligan at the beginning of the episode, because I have an odd feeling that I said Zach Galifianakis. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Nevertheless, it's Zach Galligan, who doesn't need any introductions because everybody knows him from, of course, Gremlins. And if you are a more seasoned horror aficionado, you also know him from Waxwork. And unfortunately, Waxwork 2. And that's Waxwork. It's not Waxworks. That annoys the fuck out of me when people do that. Yeah, I know he's worked a lot, but I think Waxwork and Gremlins are really his standout roles. I think that's what he's mostly known for. Gremlins more so than Waxwork. And we have Patricia Charbonneau, another actress who has worked steadily, but the only thing that I know her from, other thing that is, I believe, is a thriller from the late 80s called Call Me, which is not very good, but I remember wanting to see it really bad when I was a kid, because even then I had an odd affinity for movies that dealt with telephone terror, but this movie kind of doesn't. It's, I don't know, it's more of an erotic thriller and not a very good one. So yeah, this is Strung Along, and I have to say, I don't get it. I never got it. And I should have listened to that dumbass podcast that I mentioned before to see what the interpretation of some other people is. but I don't think it makes any sense, or at least it doesn't make any sense to me. And so what we're dealing with is a children's puppeteer who had I think a TV show in the 1950s and was very very successful. And I remember here they tried to make him look younger by I think putting a wig on him and giving him rosy cheeks, and he's just at such an accelerated age that it doesn't look at all. If this were done today, they would make him look younger with that awful CGI, which I've never seen, by the way. That's something that I can't even comment on because I've never seen it. It is much like this next wave of 3D that became popular at... Oh my god, this music is from another episode. Or maybe it's not another episode. Maybe it's from... I definitely know this music. I think it's from another episode. Or maybe it's from a movie. I forget where I was going. Show doesn't make sense. Puppeteer. Alright, yeah. So I'll just keep going with the synopsis. So this guy was a successful puppeteer in the 1950s. His career took a downturn somewhere between then and the 90s, early 1990s. Oh, I know what I was going to say. This episode is set up to be a killer doll episode or a killer puppet story, but it's not, and then it is, or it I don't know, and he does. Coco is his prized puppet, which he became famous for using, and so they have these conversations with each other, and it's really not clear whether or not Coco is really talking to him or if it's in his head. The ending, I believe, is particularly ambiguous. And I like this episode, but I don't think that I would like it now if I had seen it for the first time, because like I said, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. And see, this is probably why I am not in the same boat as some of the podcasters who are doing shows that are dedicated to the episodes, doing episodes that are dedicated to this series and see all the flaws and can't accept it because they're seeing it from a completely different lens. And I grew up with this show. This was a huge part of my childhood. It premiered when I was 8 and ran till I was about 15. So yeah, these were for sure my formative years, and it's hard for me to look at it, or to look at it objectively or subjectively. And so, you know that she's a gold digger, the wife, Ellen, I think her name is. And so she does have ulterior motives, which we find out at the end. But since she does, and she see, there's all these scenes where, like, I was going to mention earlier when she's talking about how necessary it is for him to take his medication because he could have another heart attack because he has a sensitive heart, and now she's trying to talk him out of this job, which could, as he said, mean a comeback and which he could get some money for. And she's trying to say, you know, maybe you should have the doctor check you out um, before you commit to anything. And so she's not showing any support for what for any of his endeavors. And Joseph, his name is there, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. He knew you were coming. Why don't you wait down here and I'll go see if I can find him.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so spoiler. Zach's character David isn't really David. His name is really Rick, and he is somebody. He is a puppeteer, but he works more with electronic puppets, and he is secretly having an affair with Joseph's wife Ellen, and it all is revealed to be a plot against Joseph to get his money. And I think it seems to me like because Joseph says earlier when he gets this notice about participating in this retrospective for television programming from the 1950s, that if he's going to participate, then he's going to need somebody to help him with all this stuff, because there's a lot to do since it's been so long since he's been in front of the camera or has even done any of this kind of work. The only thing that he really does is hang around the house and talk to this puppet Coco. And I don't know, it seems kind of like a throwaway for Ellen, because Ellen says that she's taking an acting class, but she doesn't. That's the time when she goes out and fucks around. But she says, you know, maybe I should talk to my acting teacher, and because maybe he knows somebody who can help you. And I don't think that it's ever confirmed or denied whether she does, or whether David or Rick, as he's known, or Zach's character is supposed to. It's believed that he came from her. He had to have, but it's never really said indefinitely. And so, of course, when we have these kinds of storylines in which the wife is having an affair, we have to have the husband overhear an illicit telephone conversation.
A friend from class.
Mm-hmm.
So, how's what's his name working out?
Yeah, she's trying to act like she doesn't know his name. And it's definitely calculated on her part, or on, well, yeah, on, I guess on their part, because they probably talked it over. She and Zach's character, that she doesn't like him from the very beginning, and I think that it is meant to show Joseph that Ellen really isn't supportive at all of him, and that the only person who is in his court is David, and that David is the one he should be trusting more than anybody, when David is out to get him as much as his wife is. She has these little digs here and there that I think are kind of nasty, too, where she talks about, you know, him being shut in, and, you know, she doesn't like this lifestyle. They're definitely not suited for each other, you can see, because he's definitely old enough to be her father, and they have nothing in common. They don't even have anything to talk about, really. And I think it's pretty clear from the very beginning that she's only with him for his money. And he lives in this nice big house with a pool and blah blah blah. And I'm sure that she can buy whatever she wants. And I mean, let's be realistic here. The guy is already up there in age. He's got a heart condition. If she would have just waited it out, I mean, I doubt it would have been much longer. And then she would have gotten the insurance money, which was clearly what she was after the whole time. But again, it's ambiguous because it goes from being taking place in the real world to ending in a supernatural realm, sort of, kind of. I don't know, because I don't get it, and I don't think it makes sense. But I'm gonna spoil the ending, so again, like, you know, if you haven't seen this episode, I suggest that you go back and watch it before listening to the commentary. So there's some things about the ending that don't make any sense. A lot of things about the ending that don't make any sense, actually, and namely, it is they make a fake Coco, an electronic Coco, that they stage to look like he's stabbing Ellen as a way of pledging his allegiance to Joseph, who is his best friend, or their, you know. And so she's lying on the floor and she's covered in blood while Joseph dies of a heart attack, and she has to go take a shower, which I think is ridiculous. She has to go take a shower to wash all the blood off. What she's going to do with that dress that she just ruined with all the blood, I don't know. But she comes out of the shower and she's soaking wet, and she's saying, you know, to Rick, as he's known, the police are going to be here any minute. And then you see that Rick has been turned into a puppet, and his arm is hanging by a string, and his hand is clutching the knife that they used to stage the murder of Ellen. And it is supposed to imply that Rick, being controlled like a puppet, has killed Ellen. And then when the police come, this makes no fucking sense. They find Rick and Ellen dangling from the four-poster bed like two puppets. And then you see Coco at the top where the canopy is, and he's laughing, and he's got Joseph's face. I don't get it. So Joseph turned into Coco? Is that what that's supposed to be? Because if that's what that's supposed to be, again, that makes no sense. How is that even possible? So, and still, you never really know if Coco is really talking to him or not, or again, if it's in his head.
What have you got against me? I don't understand why you hate me so much.
His acting is really bad
I'd like to do this as quietly as possible.
in this, Zach.
If it's a matter of money, I'm sure we can come to some agreement.
Is that what you think this is all about? You are disgusting. Do you know that? By the way, how long have you been cheating on your husband?
How dare you? How fucking dare you talk to me
Stop
like
it,
that?
you two. Will you please stop it?
Did you hear what he said to me? You gonna let him get away with that? I want you to fire him.
I can't do the show without him. I need him.
You need me, and I don't want him in my house.
Joe, it's okay. It's not worth upsetting you. The show is the most important thing. We'll be in touch. I promise.
Hmm.
David, don't go, please. What's the matter with you? David is my friend.
Oh, he's your friend, is he? You can have friends, but I can't.
I never said you can't have friends.
That's news. In the past 8 years, I've lost every friend I've had because of you. I'm sick of your jealousy. I'm sick of you trying to control me like I'm one of your goddamn puppets.
Where are you going?
To see a friend.
I guess that is meant. I guess that's then. I just like. I guess I answered my own question because she kind of gave it away right there when she says, "I'm sick of you trying to control me like I'm one of your goddamn puppets." And then at the end, he is Coco, and Coco is pulling the strings, literally on her dead body. I don't know. It still doesn't make any sense. It's very clunky. Very, very, it's not, the intentions are not very clear.
I should have listened to you, Coco. You knew. You knew.
It wasn't exactly hard to see coming.
I can't see it, but I remember the part, I think it's now, when,
I mean, if you
they have Coco looking at him with his eyebrows raised in a kind of like I told you so look.
Call my lawyer in the morning.
And again, whether Joseph is seeing that or it's real, I don't know.
I see you take matters into your own hands.
I wonder who's doing the voice of Coco.
No, I can't. I can't.
Sure you can.
He sounds kind of familiar.
No. No.
I still want to know what the fuck that music was from at the beginning of the episode. Now it's going to drive me crazy. Uh-oh.
Coco?
So Coco's gone and his strings are cut. Now, how did they get it to make that noise? Because when you see the arm wind down, the knife is not either it's not real or it's just not it's not stabbing her. He's not stabbing her hard enough for the blade to penetrate. Yet I guess his mind filled in the blanks. I don't know. Joseph, that is. This is so cold.
Is he dead yet?
Almost.
I would think that this would have left quite a big mess,
It's Rick.
and I don't know how it would all be cleaned up in time for the police. Ew. All right, that's enough.
Joe, I know it's not as graceful as what you do, but I think with a little money,
Your money. I think you'll end up pretty damn good.
bye, Joe. You should get cleaned up. Call 911.
Where'd you put the real Coco anyway?
He's under.
Call 911 now,
Come on, hon, we don't have that much time.
before she's even taken a shower and gotten rid of the dress and all the blood and da 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 da. I mean, you got a couple minutes. If you say, somebody's having a heart attack, the ambulance, they don't take that long. Yeah. I think, well, no, I think, yeah. I think somebody killed Rick. I don't know. I
What the
get
hell are you doing? The paramedics are gonna be here any minute.
if it was Coco or if it was Joseph as Coco. Kosef? I don't know. That was bad. Excuse me. Forgive me for that.
Isn't funny.
Now he's all strung up. So there's Coco's voice.
You're not gonna believe this. Yeah, I've seen just about everything. Not like this, you haven't.
So I really think that's what this was supposed to be. Joseph turned into Coco. Because I don't remember, and I don't think you do, but I don't remember if you see Joseph when the police come. All you see is them, Ellen and Rick, strung up like marionettes. And then you have that final close-up of Coco with Joseph's face. I don't get it.
Coco may have been the puppet, but in the end, Joseph was the one who paid for marionette. As for me, kiddies, it seems my pain in the neck was more serious than
Yeah,
I thought.
that was a mediocre episode. Quite mediocre.
One more adjustment, and I'll be out of here. Anytime you're ready, Bones.
Ooh.
Now that's what I call paying in full.
Oh boy. Well, as always, thanks for staying with me to the bitter end. This has been another episode of Tales from the Crypt. I hope you'll come back and join me for more. So until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.